Yes, sir. Ambassador Plays back in the building. How you doing? Hope you're doing well. Not just well, but swell. And I mean that from the bottom of my heart. Look, today we have something really interesting to talk about. And I know y'all already seen the title of the video. So first and foremost, I just want to say I thank God for the ability to be able to work a 9-to-5 job, right? In large part, it is a blessing, man, because you got homeless people out there and things like that that would kill for an opportunity to be able to work and make some money on a consistent basis. So I don't want to come off as ungrateful in this video. That's first and foremost. But I think that this is something that I probably really kind of been wanting to talk about for a while, and I think a lot of y'all, at least in the audience who are old enough to actually work, can definitely relate to this. And that's the dilemma of working a 9-to-5 job. You know, there is a true dilemma there, and what I mean is that I'm gonna talk about a few things, but the first thing that I can genuinely talk about is the fact that, yo, like, this job that you're working, man, you are doing it for 40 hours a week, right? So you wake up, and most people work mornings, not early mornings. Me, myself, I work early mornings, so I'm still off with some time that I can have free, right? I start working at 4 a.m. and I'm off at 12:30 p.m. And so I have from like 1:30 to 8 o'clock or 9 o'clock to be free. But a lot of people work the 9 to 5, right? Or somewhere within that time frame, like 9 a.m. to 5 p.m. or even worse, like 12 p.m. to 8 p.m. or 8:30 p.m. Yeah, that is all day long. So you're getting up, you're going to work, and then you're coming home essentially to go to sleep, just so that the next day you can get up and go to work so that you can come home and essentially go to sleep. And the problem with this is that us 9-to-5 workers, man, we're usually not working jobs that we're passionate about. We're usually not working jobs that, you know, we dreamed about since being children. It's not like that. We're usually working these jobs just so that we can get by. We're working these jobs so that we can put food in our family's mouth. Or if we don't have families, we're working these jobs so that we can pay rent for the apartment or the mortgage for the house that we're living in. We're working these jobs so that we can make a decent living and actually survive in this world, in this economy. And don't even get me started about the economy and inflation and how expensive things are nowadays. I spend $300 a month just on gas alone. On gas alone, that's not even a bill. That's just to keep my car driving. That's not oil changes. That's not tire changes. That's not anything to do with transmission or any other unforeseen problems that happen with your vehicle, right? Another thing, with these 9-to-5 jobs, we are trading our time to work at these jobs. Time is one of the most, if not the most valuable thing that you have outside of your ability to make choices. We are trading our time to work at these jobs. We're trading our time to work 40 hours a week, 8 hours a day, and that's not even counting any overtime that we're working, right? So we're working this much, and we are trading off our time that we could be using to do things like fulfill our dreams, using to do things like invest in ourselves, right? Another thing, working these jobs, nobody's gonna encourage you to invest in yourself. Nobody's gonna encourage you to invest in yourself. They're gonna encourage you to use all of your mind, body, heart, and soul and invest it into whatever company you're working for. They expect you to see their company as the biggest thing in your life. As the biggest thing in your life. Then another thing about these 9-to-5, I got a lot to say about this, and I'm pretty sure y'all can relate. Another thing about these 9-to-5 jobs is you are just a tiny little spectacle in the big picture. You don't really matter. You see what I'm saying? You don't really matter. You are so replaceable. You are as replaceable as a sock. You know, when you get a hole in your sock, which one of you guys takes your sock to the parlor so that they can sew your sock back together? Nobody. And if you say you do, I'm assuming you're lying. If you get a hole in your sock, guess what you're gonna do? You're gonna go to the store and just buy another one. You might hold on to that sock a little bit longer until when? You get money to buy another sock. That's a perfect analogy in my opinion. You are a sock. I am a sock. If they have a problem with me, they're going to replace me, but they might, just like the sock with the hole in it, they might wear me, they might use me a little bit longer until they can afford to buy a new sock, or in real life terms, afford to hire somebody else to work in my place. I'm replaceable. There's nothing special about me. I'm replaceable. Another thing about these 9-to-5 jobs, you always have somebody above you that you need to ask for permission to do regular things. You see what I'm saying? For instance, you're sick. Especially, I know some jobs are easier than others, but I'm talking about like adult jobs, serious jobs. Yo, when you're sick, or you're not feeling well, or you got car problems, or your kids are sick, or whatever it may be, and you need to miss work, now you have to worry about an explanation to somebody. Who in their right mind wants to call out of work and then have to explain to their employer why they called out of work? Man, I'm sick. That's why I called out of work, because I'm sick. I don't owe you an explanation. But you do though, because you're replaceable and you're a sock. And all of your time is going into this 9-to-5 that you're working. Another perfect example, you need to use the restroom. Most of y'all can relate to the fact that you can't just get up and walk away and use the restroom. You got to tell somebody, hey, I need to use the restroom. And depending on where you're at, some places even, most people will ask. They won't even say, hey, I need to use the restroom. I'm about to go to the restroom. No, they say, hey, can I use the restroom right now? Why? Because you have an operation that's supposed to be running, and it takes so many people to keep this operation running. They want to make sure that before you go to the restroom, they can keep the operation running smoothly. And so if y'all happen to be short-staffed that day, they might hit you with a, not yet, hold on. Can you hold it? And this isn't even like a funny video, but can you hold it? You feel me? Man, can you hold it? And so look, what if, because see, when you work these 9-to-5s, we talked about already how most of your time is going to this 9-to-5, and you don't have time to invest in yourself. Could you just imagine, and just stay with me, please stay with me right here. I want everybody who's listening to this to hear this. You spend 8 hours a day, 40 hours a week, 160 hours a month to this corporation, to this company, to this business, so that you could get a paycheck either weekly, or most jobs bi-weekly, some jobs even monthly. And then the government puts their hand in your paycheck like this. The government, let me get a good chunk of that right there, and you can have the rest. You can have the rest. We're gonna show you your gross income, how much you really earn, and then we're gonna take a good portion of that, and then we're gonna give you this thing called net income right here. And this is what you can take home. Every single week, every other week, every single month. That's your cycle. That's my cycle. That's your process. That's my process, buddy. That's your life. And that's my life. You see what I'm saying? Now stay with me. What if, man, could you imagine if we had a portion of the time that we're pouring into these businesses, these corporations, these companies? Could you imagine if we take a portion of the time that we're pouring into those and invest it into ourselves? Could you imagine, for me, and this is what I think, yo, if I had 40 hours a week, 8 hours a day, 160 hours a month to pour into my YouTube channel, it would look completely different. Azula, come here. Sit. Sorry, my dog was doing something over there. Sit. It would look completely different if I could pour 8 hours a day, 40 hours a week, 160 hours a month into what I'm actually passionate about. Oh, it would be great. Oh, how great it would be, man. But they don't tell us that. They don't teach us that. What do? We go to kindergarten. We go to grade school. We go to middle school. we go to high school, and then we're encouraged to go to college so that we can get a job. Not make a job, not pursue our dreams and our talents, not take our talents and work on them over and over and over again until we become masters of our own talents so that we're the best at what we're talented at. No, they tell you that you need to learn Pythagorean theorem. They tell you that you need to learn a little bit of physics and the rotation of the earth, how many planets there are and the seasons. And it just keeps going higher and higher and higher. You learn more about the planets and more about the Pythagorean theorem and the algebra and the algorithms. Not algorithms, the equations for math. As you go up, grade school it gets a little bit more, middle school it gets a little bit more, high school it gets a little bit more, college it gets a little bit more. And think about it, they are training you up to be a great worker. Same thing in class. Do you realize the similarities? When you're in class and you're inside your class, you're learning about something, guess what you have to do? Raise your hand like this. Hey, can I go to the restroom, please? If you miss school and you call out of school, right? Now your parents helping you out a little bit, but guess what you have to do? Tell them why you were gone. Do y'all see the similarities here? And when you're in school, oh my gosh, did anybody realize that you're in school for about 8 hours a day, 40 hours a week, 160 hours a month? Do y'all see the similarities here? They training you up from the time you're young to be stuck in the dilemma of a 9-to-5 job. You see? You see? Now I told you this video is a little bit different from the videos that we typically do on the channel, but I don't mind making them because listen, I know that a lot of my audience is grown and a lot of my audience can relate. They train you from the time that you're young to give all your time to this corporation, this business, this entity, so that they could give you a paycheck and take out taxes and then leave you with the rest, which by the way, a lot of people have to fight to get the amount of money that they believe that they're worth. Because there's some people, it's another dilemma of a 9-to-5 job. You working your tail off, you giving them everything you got. I'm talking about everything you got. You clock in early, or not, maybe not clock in, but you arrive early and you leave late. That's the kind of employee you are. You put everything on the line because your parents raised you to, no matter what you do, make sure you do it to the best of your ability. I don't care if you sweeping floors or if you guarding the president, Secret Service Uniform Division. I want you to do everything you do in life to the best of your ability. That's how you was raised. So you walk into this 9-to-5 giving them every single thing you got. You giving them everything you got, the best of what you got. And guess what happened? You look across, you see Timmy Turner, you see Jimmy Bob, you see Donald Johnson over there slacking off on his phone, using the restroom 25 times a day, a shift. You see him using the restroom 25 times a shift. And then you sit back and you go, you know what? I'm leaving my family. I'm leaving my dreams. I'm leaving the things I got going on, the things that I really want to do, to come here to bust my tail. And this dude, he not even working for real. And guess what? We making the same amount of money. We making the same exact amount of money. No difference. Do you see the dilemma? Do you see the dilemma? And this is why most people don't like the jobs that they work, because they're not working them because they went from the time they were a child and went on a path so that they could work on a job that aligns with their dreams, or that they could work on the job that aligns with their talents. No, they're working it so they could keep their neck above the water so they don't drown. They working it so those bills don't get too high. They working it so that mortgage don't get too high. They working it so that they can afford that car that they use to transport themselves wherever they need to go. That's why they're working the job, not because they love it, not because they're passionate about it, and not because they really want to do it, but because they feel as though they have to do it. Why? Because they was raised from the time they was this little to be a great employee. You see that? To be a great employee, not a great entrepreneur, not a great businessman, not a great thinker. They teach you what to think and not how to think. You ask me to go to the restroom. I tell you the rules of this job, and then you regurgitate every single day, every week, every month. That's what you do. I'm not going to teach you how to think, and I'm sure not going to teach you about the potential that you have within yourself. Wow, I'm not going to talk about that at all, because we don't want you to ever realize you could be anything more than an employee. We want you for the rest of your life to be stuck in the dilemma of a 9-to-5 job. That's what we want. So we're not going to tell you about what you can really do, and then we're going to make you think that this is the climax of your life. We're gonna make you think that this is the best you could afford. This is the highest you're ever gonna get. That's what we're gonna make you think, because we don't ever want you to wake up and realize that you have so much power within yourself, because you are made in the image of God, and God is a creator. You are a creator, no matter where you are. You see what I'm saying? Now I don't want to teach you that, but I'm gonna tell you. I'm gonna tell you straight up. So every last one of y'all watching this video, I just want to leave y'all with a little bit of encouragement as this video is coming to an end real soon. I don't want you stuck in the dilemma of a 9-to-5 job if you don't want to be. Whatever you feel as though you can achieve, I promise you can. What the mind believe and the heart can conceive, you can achieve, bro. Remember that. God bless. It's been Ambassador Plays, and I'll catch y'all in the next video. Peace.